TheAngryHoneyBadger.
Hey everyone, it is the Angry Honey Badger here, and it is time for us to take a look at another champion build video. Today we will be playing as Caitlyn in the bot lane. So, what we're going to do today in this build video is take a look at the items, of course, that you're going to want to build on Caitlyn. We're going to look at her runes and masteries and her abilities, what you're going to want to max out, and a little bit of strategy, a little bit of thought behind Caitlyn and how you might want to play her. So, starting things off, let's just actually get runes and masteries out of the way. So here's a picture of the masteries page. Real quick, you can pause if you need to see it. 21.9, nothing too crazy there. And yeah, nothing insane. We hit level 3 before Annie has hit level 3. She's the only one who hasn't hit 3. She must have missed out on a minion. We're just getting a little aggressive, and between me and the support, that's just pretty easy cleanup kill. She came out with a stun and was like, oh, I'm going to stun one person, and that's going to do nothing. So, yeah, easy kill, honestly, to pick up at the start of the game. So it's nice for us. And then as for those runes, what I like to take for my rune page is attack damage marks. We take armor seals, magic resist, glyphs, and then I like to take attack damage quintessences as well. Caitlyn's range early on in the game is very helpful and allows you to do quite a bit of damage because you can usually out-harass your lane opponent, or at least lay some pressure on them. It's very helpful. It's very fun. It's good to have. So that's what we do with that. Now, let's go ahead and jump into the abilities and what you want to be taking first and what you're going to want to max and all types of stuff. So starting out with her passive, we'll just talk about that briefly. That's her headshot. Every few attacks, because it goes down, or if you're in a bush, those count as two. Caitlyn's will fire a headshot dealing either 150% damage to a champion or 250% damage to a minion. Makes hitting minions easier. Also allows us to harass incredibly well after we get those standard attacks off. Here we had a ward and we could see that Gragas was coming over to invade. We're just going to keep an eye out. We're going to find him. We put the trap down, like perfect timing. He steps back into it when he's trying to get away. We're going to try to put some fire on him. Heimerdinger's coming over here too to try to help. Hannah has roamed up as well. The smite from Hecarim, we're going to pick up another kill. Slows him down. Pretty good work, actually, just as the team being conscious of what was happening. And that's going to result in us being able to pick up an early dragon. So, very good to have. And one just small roam turns into a kill and an objective really easily. So, good to do that. Hecarim also then just roamed bottom because we knew the jungler was probably respawning. And this is an easy kill for us. So, we're going to go ahead and pick up another kill. And yeah, I mean, that's 3 things back to back to back just because of map awareness and communication. So really good stuff right there just to work on if you're looking for opportunities that you can take advantage of. So that's what happened there. We talked about our passive. Let's go to the Q ability. That is the Piltover Peacemaker. You will be putting a point into this at level 1 and maxing this out first. Now the reason we don't put a point into our trap first, which I know a lot of people like to do, is if you get into a 1v1 fight of any kind, you're already at a disadvantage for taking trap. You don't have any way to deal damage to them. I know trap does deal damage, but you typically won't be throwing a trap down and dealing damage to them with it in a level 1 fight. Also with Caitlyn, you can push the wave incredibly well early, and you can get to level 2 faster if you take your Piltover, which means you have more pressure in lane and you will stay ahead. And you can pressure the turret faster, and so on and so forth. So taking your Q is way better than taking your trap. At level 2, we put a point into our 90 caliber net. We will typically max this out second, unless you're not paying attention, like I don't sometimes, but you'll max this out. This is your getaway and or gap close, depending on how you want to shoot it and use it. It does deal a little bit of damage as well and slows your enemy, but you're going to take that second. You're going to max out second, so it has a shorter cooldown. And then at level, typically, honestly, like 3 or 4, you're going to put a point into the Ural Snap Trap. Use that for vision scouting, max this out last. Good for putting down in the middle of team fights too, obviously. And then your ultimate, which is the Ace in the Hole. This is obviously your lock-on, snipe shot. Obviously, put it in points level 6, 11, and 16. A lot of people use this incorrectly, and I always laugh. And occasionally, I will, just not thinking, but no, I typically don't. But what the problem is with it when people use it incorrectly is they go to snipe someone, and they're within their standard attack range. The amount of time it takes to queue up your Ace in the Hole and get it to shoot off is longer than what it would be if you did the same amount of damage if you just autoed them because they were in your auto attack range. So don't just use your headshot, or your, sorry, not headshot, your Ace in the Hole if they're within standard attack range. You're just literally standing still asking to get shot more and die. Only use it when they are running super, super far away, typically. It's going to work out best if you just do it that way. So that's what I recommend. It works out best. Like I said, you'll get more shots off. It'll just go better for you. So let's convert now over into the build and the items. So early on, obviously, we started off with a Dorans Blade and a health pot. Early on, that's just the generic start. It's great. You want it. Our first main item that we wanted when we went back to base would have been the BF sword, because with your range on Caitlyn, the harass potential and just the farming, so much easier. It's just way better. And yeah, that's what you want. So BF sword. And then we built that into the Infinity Edge. Now I know Infinity Edge did remove a little bit of crit chance on it. Still a really good item. It's still fantastic on Caitlyn. She just really does a great job sitting at the back line and just dealing damage because she has the range. I mean, that's Caitlyn's bread and butter, is the fact that she's got the best range in the game at level 1 when it comes to ADCs. So she just does a good job scaling upward as the game kind of goes on. But we'll talk about that too. Getting into another fight, we're going to focus the Caitlyn until somebody else comes back in range that's easier to kill. We're going to get sniziped because enemy Caitlyn thought I was needed to be sniped. Here we're going to go ahead and shoot Caitlyn or Annie in the face, and then we'll die to what can only be said as a massively fed Jace. Yeah, I think that's the way I would put that. So what I wanted to say about Caitlyn and the way she scales, though, is she has a really strong early game because of her range and because of her poke. Piltovers do actually hurt pretty well early on. The next thing you want to take note of is her mid game is not super awesome if you don't have a good early game. It's pretty mediocre just all around, depending on your items is where the big thing, comes from. So you gotta be careful with her mid game if you have fallen behind somehow. And then she excels in the late game because of her range, and a full item build on Caitlyn just starts to get disgusting. So we built the Infinity Edge first, and we picked up our Berserker Greaves to get us a little bit of attack speed and obviously the movement speed. Pretty helpful. And then we're gonna start to focus on getting more crit chance and more damage. Therefore, well, damage as in the crits will help us. We're gonna go ahead and get that Infinity Edge, which we've picked up. Now I like the Infinity Edge on Caitlyn more than the Statikk Shiv. I go back and forth between both of these just because it kind of seems like I do. The nice thing about the Infinity Edge is that it's extra crit chance that the Phantom Dancer I like over it, because the extra crit chance that left the Infinity Edge basically got put into the Phantom Dancer, so it makes up for it. So between those two, those are really nice. Also the 50% movement speed, and then the unique passive where your champion ignores unit collision is also pretty nice for an ADC if things start to get a little bit, how do we say this? Sporadic? Yes, that's helpful. Also, walking through minions is helpful just so you don't get stuck on them. We all know how annoying pathing is in League. It just is a thing. It's real. So, yeah, you got to deal with it. So, we like the Phantom Dancer. That is what we picked up. So, that is what we want. So, we've picked up that. We have our first 3 items if you count Boots, Infinity, and Phantom Dancer. We're going to go ahead and pick up another Dragoon, because 3 of them is better than none. And we're probably going to die over here. Yep, called it. Called it, running into the battle and dying. Don't do it. Don't need it to happen. Don't want it to happen. We're going to go ahead and then back to base. We have a Vampiric Scepter and another BF Sword. We're going to be building this into the Bloodthirster. Bloodthirster is better on Caitlyn than the Blade of the Ruined King, because with the 2 crit items that you have, the Bloodthirster makes all of your crits, therefore larger with your larger attack damage. Also, Caitlyn's in ADC where her abilities scale well from attack damage, therefore having more attack damage than attack speed is helpful because your Piltovers will hurt more and your snipes do crazy amounts of damage. It's just the way to go. That's the best way to put it. So after we finish that off, that'll be our core 4 items. Then after that, it really comes down to situational, which typically situationally we're going to go ahead and address that the next item after that would be the Last Whisper. Let's see what happens in this game, and we'll talk about it in a moment. We will be getting into another skirmish with the enemy team. We need to reposition ourselves, so we're going to go and trap back. We see who we want to kill, but we know they're trying to get to me too because I am ADC. So I'm trying to sneak in here without getting murdered. We took the ultimate from Gragas. We got a kill on Caitlyn. I don't know. No. Well, we did get the kill on Caitlyn. Did we get it on Annie? I don't know. But Annie had the stun up too, so we had to be conscious. So it looked like we weren't in the fight right away. And there we just sniped, the enemy split pushing Heimerdinger, who in fact needed to die. because I wanted more kills. So now we can finish off our Bloodthirster, and we can start to build towards the Last Whisper. So the Last Whisper, obviously, situational as much as it is pretty core to a certain degree on most ADCs. Obviously, we're repositioning ourselves in this fight. Again, we took another ult from Gragas, but not too much damage, obviously. And there we go, we get the initiation. Now we just want to sit on the back line of this fight and kind of deal the damage and take care of those stupid turrets that Jaime has. They're so annoying. And yeah, we gotta be careful here. It's just, you know, also fighting another ADC that is the same ADC as you, same range, so don't have as much of it as an advantage. Also, we need to address the super minions in the base. Not the most helpful. And then, yeah, it's positioning as an ADC is something that, like, people are upset if you don't deal damage, and I agree, that is upsetting. But you need to also stay safe, and it's always a fine line between doing both of those things correctly or none of those things correctly. Either getting too close, face checking, and just dying, or staying so safe that you literally never did anything in the fight. Which you gotta find the balance. You gotta know what's too far and what's not too far, and that is when attack, command attack helps. Attack A. You know, A, left click. You will attack the closest thing. Which, if there's minions, it's going to be minions, which is not a good thing, unless you clicked on them. But, yeah, I mean, when it's just them, it's super easy to clean them up, because then you're not going to run at them accidentally closer to them and then get too close and not utilize your awesome range as Caitlyn. So, yeah. That's attack command. Use it. Abuse it. Love it. So, like I was saying with the Last Whisper, it is really good as a somewhat situational, but not so much item, because it's just going to shred through the armor, which this team has a bit of. So, good to have. Very good to have. We're going to go ahead and keep poking down people, pick up the kills, or the assists mostly, and keep kiting back, pick up the kill on the Heimerdinger. Go for the snipe. The dude's got a ton of armor. Look at all that armor. Oh my god, he's got a frozen heart and a mallet. And that is why we have picked up that Last Whisper. It's going to help shred through some of that over time. Also, the Last Whisper does great work with Caitlyn's ult. So, fun fact. Fun. And facts. Obviously not good enough to kill him, though. Now, we have our 5 items. And it comes down to, well, what do we get for a 6th item? What sounds good? Do we want a Banshee's Veil? No, we don't want a Banshee's Veil this game. I mean, we could. It's actually not a terrible thing against this team. But I like to go for more attack speed and more crit chance. So that's what we're doing. Gonna go run and help out our Bruiser Quinn, which, whatever, Quinn. Gonna go ahead and pick up 2 kills and then go through the wall with our net. Shoot the Annie in the face twice for the triple kill. And then we're gonna go hard on Jace and get the quadra. Because you have to go ham late game. That's just how it works. Quinn, stop tanking the tower. We have minions coming. Thank you. And yeah, so your last items could be the Banshees, the Guardian Angel, or I'm going with the Statikk Shiv. That's what I like. That's what I think works best. You're going to get so much crit chance that, like, you're just going to murder through them. I think crit is stupid awesome on Caitlyn, like actually getting close to 100% crit chance. So that's what I went for. Some people would then say you could sell your boots and get a Zephyr. That is situational as well, up to you. But at that point in the game, I mean, you're pretty deep in the game. But I mean, that's a build for Caitlyn. You abuse the range that she has, push early and get ahead. And yeah, she just is she's good at pushing and taking objectives and killing people. So that's Caitlyn. If you have any questions, put them down below, and everything else is in the description. I'll see you in the next build video. Hey everybody, it is the TheAngryHoneyBadger here, and it is time for another champion build video. Today, it is Lissandra, at which we will be looking at